All right, guys, welcome to the video. Today we're going to go over today's workout. This is day number 3 of week 1 for the program. You're going to begin with the dynamic warm-up, the same one I showed you on Monday. You're going to do that one again. So that's the traversing back and forth using the court. It's outlined in the one of the documents I gave you guys, so I'm not going to go over that. I'm going to do my best to keep these videos as short as possible and kind of give you just what you need to do for the day, so we're not going to go over that. First thing we're going to do after the warm-up is we're going to kind of use this as a little bit more of a warm-up. We're going to do a little bit of plyometrics work. You could go down to sports stores, grab yourself a ladder. Somebody's was good enough 10 years ago to paint a ladder on the floor or tape it on the floor for us, so we're going to make use of that. The plyometrics drills we do in this program are going to be super simple because that's not we're not doing a football program. We're just doing a little bit of plyometrics for some basic stuff for what you're going to need for selection. So we're kind of using it as a little bit of an ankle warm-up kind of situation, and if you happen to get good at this stuff as a at the footwork drills as an incidental kind of thing, it's not a bad thing at all. So we're going to start off super simple. Again, we're doing very basic drills here with a 2-foot hop. Okay, so all that's going to look like is this right here, 2 feet about hip width apart, and you're going to hop through. This is a pretty long ladder. You don't need to do the entirety of the ladder. Okay, so you start at one end, go 10 squares, and you're going to jog it out straight ahead. Okay, and we're going to kind of work on some drills going back and forth. Or going out of the ladder, but for now I just want you to jog straight ahead, okay? So that's thing number 1. Thing number 2, same idea, but this time you're gonna go single leg, okay? So stand on 1 foot, hop through, and you're gonna do that both legs. So 2-foot hop, 1-foot hop. Next up, what we're gonna do is we're gonna do 2 feet in and out of the box, okay? So what that's gonna look like, I'm gonna start on the right or left of the box. I go 2 in, 2 out, 2 in, 2 out, 2 in, 2 out, 2 in, 2 out, just like that. Big thing with this one is I don't want your feet stuck together. I want them hip width apart, and you're still doing that side-to-side jump all the way down the ladder, jog around, wait your turn in line, how many guys are here, and you're gonna do the other side. So start on the left and go to the right, or vice versa, I don't care which. Next thing we're gonna do, same idea, 1 foot. So again, close foot this time, other leg is up, in, out, in, out, in, out, all the way down the ladder, okay? Then you're gonna go same thing on the left if you started with the right. Okay, I got 2 foot in, 2 foot out. We're gonna call that good for that. We're obviously gonna do some more drills, but we're gonna call that, actually no, we're gonna do one more. Starting here, you're gonna go 2 tap in, 2 tap out. Just like that. Tripping over my pen there. Okay, so 2 in, 2 out on each side of the ladder. So if we're going to do hands here, just in case you guys can see that, we're going to go in the ladder with 2 feet, out of the ladder with 2 feet, back in the ladder 2 feet, back out of the ladder 2 feet. Hopefully that makes sense. If not, I can show it to you next time I'm in. So that's going to be it for the plyometrics as far as the footwork stuff. Next thing we're going to do is 5 minutes of every 30 seconds. You're going to do between 2 and 4 dynamic effort push-ups, so like a jumping push-ups. If you can get a clap in there, that's great. Don't mash your face, okay? So again, 30 seconds. You have 5 minutes on the clock. Every 30 seconds, you are going to do a jumping push-up. What I don't want to see is your butt kind of like lead the thing. I want as straight of a body as possible, okay? Notice I just did 2. I want you to only do as many reps as you can do explosively, okay? This is supposed to be practice for being explosive. So if you are, if you do 10 reps and they're all slow, or in the back half of them are slow, you're better off to just do, again, shorter end, 2, 4 reps, whatever, as explosive as you can. As soon as you notice yourself start to slow down, knock off the reps, that's you're done for the set kind of thing. So between 2 and 4 reps. Then you're going to do another 5-minute clock, so that'd be 10 sets for 5 minutes for the push-ups. You're going to do 10 sets for 5 minutes of a med ball slam, okay? So standing straight up. Again, trying to accelerate that ball towards the ground. I am lifting it as high as I can, pushing the hips back first, following through with the lats, okay? So again, as much noise as you can make with the med ball, that's what I want you to do. Again, 2 to 4 reps every 30 seconds. All right, that concludes the plyometrics. Next up, we're going to do some sprints. You have 6 20s, 4 40s, and 2 60s. So 20 meters is marked out On the south side of the field house, you'll be able to tell it kind of goes from the middle till about the middle of those treadmills there. These posts that we have here are roughly 10 meters apart, or the vertical, there we go, these vertical columns that hold up the gym, roughly 10 meters apart. So it'll be marked out there. 40 meters is roughly, the straightaway is roughly 50 meters, so it'll be a little shorter than that, and 60 meters is a little bit longer than that. So there's marks on there. It's not necessarily laid out like 40, 60, 20 meters, but there is markings on the track. And for a reference point, obviously the warm-up area that we did along the court, the force evaluation is 20 meters too, so you guys can kind of extrapolate 20 meters. If you want to go to stores and grab a tape measure, you can, but I wouldn't bother with that. I wouldn't worry too much about that. Just kind of play it by ear a little bit. Okay, so 620s, 440s, and 260s. Honestly, what I tell guys every year is sprinting is the most dangerous thing we do, in that fact that it's supposed to be maximum effort all in a short amount of time kind of thing. After every single sprint, first off, I want you to get a full recovery, so like a 3-to-1 work to rest ratio. So if your sprint takes you, 5 seconds or whatever, you want to rest for 3-to-1 to 6-to-1, I should say. So you want to give yourself lots of rest in between. So sprint the thing, walk back, rest there a minute, and then go into your next one, okay? And you're going to increase the rest for each one, because I do want more or less full recovery between each one. If after you finish one, you're like, ooh, that didn't feel too good on my hamstring, take a full interval off and jog the next one at 50%. And if it doesn't feel good, maybe take it off for the rest of the day. Again, this is one of the more dangerous things we do, in that it is a max effort thing. Selection tends to be, it's a little bit of a marathon, 7 days. Obviously, they're going to demand maximum effort out of you a few times, but you want to make sure you're there for the next day. So you do want to make sure we mitigate that kind of intensity, especially week 1 of training. We can decide we need to have a little bit more of an extensive warm-up before sprinting, which is why I kind of put it on the back end of that plyo stuff, back end of some dynamic warm-up stuff, that kind of thing, because I want to make sure you're nice and warmed up for it. Okay, next thing is a track running workout. It is set up that you are going to be doing an exercise every 50 meters. So we have, same thing as I mentioned on Monday, we've got the tips of the track, and then we've got that middle green line that goes all the way down the track. That's where you're going to be doing your exercises, okay? So I'm just going to lay out the exercises just like they're written, and I'm going to point the camera at where I'd suggest you do them, okay? So first exercise, actually, sorry, I should go back to the format. We're going to do as many rounds as possible in 20 minutes. This timing will expand as we do the workouts. It'll get up to 45, 60 minutes potentially. I can't quite recall what I ended out at this year. It'll kind of probably depend on where, when you go to selection, depending on if it's in 8 weeks or 12 weeks, 16 weeks, whatever. Nobody tells me when selection is, though it's probably going to be in April and after that. Okay, so exercises. First, we are doing simple. You're going to do push-ups, okay? So I'm going to recommend you start at the middle of the court by the pull-up bars over there, north end of the court, just for orientation. We are facing south. You guys are north of me. The camera's north of me, okay? So you're going to start there. I'm going to recommend everybody starts at a different spot, because it's an AMRAP, you can kind of start there. But just for reference, I'm going to be starting you guys at the 0 mark over there. You're going to go to the corner over here by those soccer nets, okay? And that is where you're going to be doing your push-ups in the bubble area, okay? Push-up standards, we haven't really talked about a whole bunch. Things I'm going to encourage you to do right now are feet together for the push-ups. And you don't need to get your chest to the floor, but you need to see at least that 90-degree bend in the elbows, which if I was on the floor now, my chest would be about on the floor, okay? Feet together is going to be a key to this one. So that's going to be the first exercise. You're then going to run to your south side, just down that center line, just right underneath the clock or by the ropes there on the court area. That's where you're going to be doing some inchworms, okay? Inchworms are a tricky one as far as specific technique that you have to do. It is something that I've heard guys getting no reps for quite a bit on selection. So what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that technique is dialed in. What we're aiming for, okay, make sure you can see my whole thing here. You're going to reach down first. You're going to bend. You can bend the knees a little tiny bit. You can probably get away with here. Touching the floor. You're going to walk yourself out to a push-up position, and you're going to bring your hips up just like that. Okay. Just in case you didn't see that, my feet and my hands came fairly close to each other. My knees were relatively straight. A soft bend in the knee, you're probably going to be able to get away with. A straight leg would be better. And your feet as close to your hands. We'll talk about kind of harder standards later on, but that's going to be the goal, is going to be to get those hips up nice and high, okay? One thing you're going to want to watch out for is getting down to a neutral position. Potentially you might want to push those hips down a little bit lower as you get down, recover from that. So if I'm now getting my feet up, you want to make sure you at least get down to this neutral position. Make sure you can see me in neutral position here before you go to reload the next one. That's something that guys have gotten no rep on a little bit, which we don't want to do. So make sure you get those hips down, at least that neutral position. Then another 50-meter run down to the underneath the Canadian flag that's over there. Then you're going to be doing some sit-ups. Sit-up standards, again, we'll talk a little bit more about this, but the big thing I want you guys to focus on is knees together, and your elbows go all the way up to the top. Periodically, as I'm watching you guys do this workout, I want you to think about holding my pen between your knees as you come up. If that pen drops, that would be a no rep. So practice squeezing those knees together, okay? Other things we want to worry about is not putting the feet too far out in front. You want to make sure they're tucked in relatively close as they can be without the feet lifting up as you load and start that next sit-up. Okay, you're going to run back to where you started, and your next exercise is going to be more push-ups in that same spot, or in the spot before you did push-ups, okay? So we did push-ups over there, we're going to do more push-ups over here. 20 reps again. Back where you did the push-ups initially, we are going to be doing a walking lunge. That's 10 reps each leg. For walking lunges, I don't want your knee to smash into the floor. That would be a no rep. I want you to bring your knee within 1 inch of the floor, okay? So what that's going to look like, if I'm lunging towards you, is nice and close without touching the floor. Again, getting nice and close. So you may need to kind of look and see what 1 inch looks like as you're going down onto the floor there, okay? Making sure you keep your chest relatively vertical, hands stay off the thighs, okay? 10 reps each leg. Underneath the ropes, we're gonna do some more inchworms, 10 more reps of those. I like to do the inchworms 5 reps out, 5 reps back for the total of 10. Gives you an opportunity to reset and kind of make sure your first couple inchworms are solid before you kind of potentially start losing excellent technique. Then you're going to do 10 4 counts of flutter kicks, okay? So for the flutter kicks, we want to make sure we keep those abs on nice and tight. Okay, abs on nice and tight, low back is pushed into the floor, feet go out, 1, 2, 3, 1 is 1 rep. 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way up to 10 reps. Heels come within 6 inches of the ground, no higher than 2 feet for the tips of the toes, okay? Keep them relatively tight. All right, you're gonna go for another 50-meter run, and you're gonna do 10 Cossack squats per leg, okay? So what this one looks like, this nice little leg exercise as well as a hip opener. You're gonna go kind of double shoulder width apart. You're gonna sink down, keep your leg nice and straight. The leg you're lunging away from, just like that. Chest stays relatively vertical. And that is your workout. You're gonna do that for 20 minutes, as many rounds as you can. Then you're gonna do a cool down, which I'll get into potentially tomorrow. We'll go into what I want you to do for a cool down. If not, cool yourselves down as you've been doing for your training previous to this. Those of you that have been following my programs have some stuff to do, and I'll go into more cool down stuff later as hopefully these restrictions relax and we can actually do stuff in person. All right, so this was 15 minutes, almost longer than I wanted to for a description of the workout, but the more you guys see of what we're doing, the more familiar you get with it, the less details I got to give you. I will see you next time.